From all of us at Morrison Communication Limited, Atlantic Television Network, and Wish 99.5 FM, we pray your desires for 2024 are met and that you enjoy abundant grace all year round. Happy New Year and welcome to Excellent 2024.
This is the ATN Global News at 9. First, the headlines. NNPCL says Port Harcourt refinery to complete test run in January. Mosop opens oil exploration in Ogoni after 28 years. EFCC stopped charges against ex-AGF Adoke. FG disburses 108.5 billion naira for road repairs. North Korea military shoots artillery shells in South's border. To the rest of our stories. Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited says test runs at the 60,000 the plant was shut, and the state-owned oil company also said that in December the mechanical work on rehabilitation on the Area 5 plant part of the facility will be completed. State for Petroleum 20th, 2023. Will commence after the Yuletide, and the facility will ease the pressure on the country's foreign exchange. And the River State Governor, His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara, has urged all aggrieved factors in the state to join hands with him and allow peace to prevail. Fubara said a lack of peace would bring about division in the state and stressed the need for unity, and represented by his deputy Ngozi Odu, Fubara spoke at the Ogoni Day celebration at Bori Town in Kana Council. Senator Magnus Abe has explained that his defection from the Social Democratic Party, SDP, to the All Progressives Congress would not cause any friction within the party. This is coming after Abe's defection to the SDP followed the disagreement between him and the former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, after he was unable to clinch the APC ticket. Abe, who represented Rivers South EC, Abe dismissed speculation that this move would create political unrest in the APC in the state, and maintained a cordial relationship with the chairman of the caretaker committee of the APC in Rivers State, Tony Okocha. And 28 years after oil exploration activities were halted in Ogoni land, Rivers State, the movement for the survival of the Ogoni people has agreed in the area following the gruesome execution during the late General Sani Abacha's military junta. The 8 others who worked alongside Sarawiwa included Saturday Dobe, Nondu Eawo, Daniel Boko, Paul Levera, Felix Noate, Baribo Bera, Barinem Kuyobel, and John Puinucha Road are released unconditionally. Iringe Koko said, based on the pressure and massive deployment of police presence, the victims were released and have reunited with their family members today. In other reports, the Joy Youth Council worldwide has called on all international oil companies operating in the Niger Delta region to relocate their headquarters back to the region. Spokesman Ambassador Binebi Yerin Princeville, in a statement in Warri Delta State, said the Ijaw people cannot continue to accept this kind of injustice and must get due benefits. The IYC averred that for enduring peace to reign in the Niger Delta region, the federal government of Nigeria and its allies must be fair and just to the Ijaw people and other minorities in the country. And operatives of the Nigerian Navy Forward Operating Base, Escravos, in the Niger Delta region have arrested a merchant fishing vessel, DR Marius 1, for allegedly contravening Nigerian maritime and fishery laws by engaging in shrimping within 5 nautical miles not traveling zone without turtle excluder device. This is coming after the merchant fishing vessel with International Maritime Organization number and owned by Carflex Fisheries Limited was intercepted by the naval officers at Perrington Oil Terminal position forward operating base. Escravos Navy Captain Olayinka Aliu said the vessel was arrested by officers of the naval base. Mission in Lagos State says it has including Surulere Federal Constituency in Lagos State. According to the timetable for the poll, the conduct of party primary elections, including the resolution of disputes that may arise from the primary elections, has been fixed to hold between January 5th and January 9th, while the public campaigns by political parties was appointed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as his chief of staff. And the Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Mr. Gbenga Omotosho, says the state government is in talks with investors to partner with it in the construction of the Lekki Ekpe International Airport being built by the Governor Babatunde Sanwo-Olu administration. The commissioner said the airport, when completed, will accommodate 350 aircraft and transport 5 million air travelers yearly. Omotosho would disclose this during an interactive session in Alausa. Said the airport will be completed within a year or two, and the Lekki Ekpe International Airport will take pressure off the Murtala Mohammed International Airport and will be built and completed in the life of this administration. Naira 2024 appropriation bill presented to it by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The budget was passed at plenary presided over by the Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, and according to a statement by the Speaker's Chief Press Secretary, Eromosele Ebiomele, said, it is a bill for a law to authorize the issuance and appropriation of 900 billion naira from the Consolidated Revenue Funds for recurrent expenditure. The budget allocates 1 trillion naira from Development Fund for capital expenditure, thereby totaling a budget size of 2 trillion naira for the year ending 31st December 2024 that has been passed into law. And the new Commissioner for Police, Eziogu Kwazi, has been posted to Osun State to replace CP Ishaku Mohammed, who assumed office in the state on November 10, 2023. A statement by the State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Yemisi Okpalola, said the new CP reported at the State Police Command in Osogbo and was. The new Commissioner of Police holds a BA in History and Political Sciences from Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria and was a SEC 45 alumnus of the prestigious National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. He joined the Nigerian Police Force in May 1992 as Cadet Assistant Superintendent of Police and has served in various capacities in different states of the country and outside Nigeria. The Osun State Governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, has joined into a single bill the multiple taxes and levies collected by different government ministries, departments and agencies across all business sectors, formal and informal. The governor said his administration has also deployed some automation systems for improved government services delivery, but not limited to government assets and utility management system for renting and leasing of government properties and assets, including C of O's in 45 days program, electronic affidavit system, as well as electronic state of origin and local government mobile tax stations, seamless online payment systems for taxes, amongst others. He also said the new initiative was informed by the need to put an end to incessant challenges of multiple taxation being faced by taxpayers in the state, just as he explained that a harmonized bill curates all levies which all businesses are expected to pay on an annual basis as a single bill. And the body of the late former governor of Ondo State, Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, has arrived in Nigeria. The late governor's remains were brought into Nigeria from Germany, where he died. And this is coming after the body was received by his wife, Chief Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, his children and siblings, led by Professor Wole Akeredolu, the immediate younger brother. The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, represented by his Chief of Staff, Tayo Ayinde. Ogun State Governor, Prince Dakwa Abiodun, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Tokunbo Talabi, and a representative of Osun State Governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, also joined in receiving the body. Akeredolu passed away in Germany on December 26, 2023, and his remains have been deposited at the mortuary until the final burials. The Social Democrat, the 7 issues he raised by the Court of Appeal was against the directive of the Supreme Court that intermediate courts should pronounce on all issues placed before it, and pleaded with the Supreme Court to the recent Boko Haram attack in the community of Boko's local government area of Plateau State have burnt down the house of the district head of the town, Michael Adanchi. This is coming after over 100 persons were attacked and killed in 17 villages in Barkin Ladi, Mangu and Boko's local government areas of the state on Christmas Eve. The attacks also displaced over 10,000 persons, many of whom were presently taking refuge in churches, mosques, schools and private residences. The police public relations officer, DSP Alfred Alabo, confirmed the incident, adding that the command will release a statement on the incident after investigations are concluded. An assistant inspector will be given appropriate confidentiality and attention. In other reports, a member of the House of Representatives representing Idiato North-South Federal Constituency, Honorable Ikenga Ugo Chinyere, operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, and warned that it could scare investors away from the country. This is coming after the EFCC raided the headquarters of Dangote Group in connection with ongoing investigations into forex allocations in the country. While on arrival at the headquarters of Dangote Group in Lagos, the EFCC operatives demanded documents relating to allocation of foreign exchange to the group in the last 10 years and also scrutinized the documents provided by officials of the group for hours. Transaction of 2011. The EFCC informed the FCT High Court that it would not oppose the application, while the anti-graft agency also stated that it would not oppose the no-case applications by the other defendants. The EFCC, however, said,
and zealous to their service delivery in order to meet up with the targeted goals of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Renew Hope agenda. The Minister of Works and Housing, Engineer David Omahi, gave the charge in Abuja while stating directives of 2024 activities for the ministry to undergo.
It is very important that we begin to look at sowing for the future of our children. So that's been addressed, and I believe very strongly that we're going to adhere to that. So all those lapses are what we have discussed here.
Joseph Moses, ATN News, Abuja.
Network. We will be back after this.
Whatever it is you're looking for is not possible.
Is she pregnant?
Welcome back. Appointed 6 new executive directors in the Nigerian Ports Authority and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency under the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. A statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, said at the NPA, Tinubu appointed Vivian Edet as Executive Director, Finance and Administration, Olalekan Badmus as Executive Director, Marine and Operations, and Ibrahim Umar as Executive Director, Engineering and Technical Services. While at Nimasa, Jibril Abba was appointed as the Executive Director of Maritime Labor and Cabotage Services, Chudi Ofodile as the Executive Director of Finance and Administration, and for the appointments with the firm belief that the new appointees will expeditiously and efficiently execute on their collective mandates to create the conditions required to significantly. Tinubu also expected the new appointees to transform the Nigerian economy into a labor-intensive and inclusive one that creates new opportunities for all Nigerians in Adegboyega Oyetola. 11 federal colleges of agriculture and 5 federal polytechnics in addition to the already existing institutions. In addition to the 52 federal universities, there are 22 federal medical centers, 27 federal colleges of education, and 40 polytechnics in Nigeria. And while some of the bills were either passed in the 9th Assembly but did not get the required concurrence at the Senate to scale through, or were not signed by the President, when established, some of the institutions will include universities of science and technology, agriculture, aviation, medicals and engineering, amongst others. The President of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Professor Emmanuel Ostrodike, said the establishment of universities without a template for funding was one of the factors responsible for the failing standard of tertiary education in the country, adding that the method of appointment and recruitment into state-owned universities by the government has also contributed to the problem. Water vessels to the Nigerian, and the company donated during a recent visit by the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale. A statement by the ministry's Director of Press, Henshaw Ogubike, said the minister had gone to the USA to inspect the facilities of high-tech military producing hardware companies in the country. While presenting the unmanned vessels to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the minister noted that the equipment would help protect the maritime environment of the country, as well as other areas. He also said the equipment would be deployed to the Niger Delta Lake Chad region and other maritime regions of the country, and told the President that the tour aimed to promote innovative technologies that would enhance the Nigerian military's efficiency in addressing contemporary security challenges. And that can barely supply power to its 200 million residents. Power companies in Nigeria are over-leveraged and undercapitalized, which has limited their capacity to invest in distributing electricity to households. Oluve Hejen, an advisor to President Bola Tinubu on energy, said Nigeria generates and supplies between 3,500 megawatts and 4,500 megawatts to the millions of citizens across its 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, while inadequate pricing, patchy revenue collection, and a dilapidated national grid have left most residents in Africa's most populated nation to produce their power using noisy generators. President Bola Tinubu pledged on January 1st, 2024, to improve the electricity supply in West Africa, in the West African nation, while power firms are not allowed to charge enough to cover the cost of generating electricity. And the federal government says it has disbursed 108 billion naira out of the 217 billion naira set aside for the emergency repairs of 260 roads in the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Minister of Works Dave Umahi, who disclosed this during a meeting with all directors of the ministry in Abuja, said the ministry sought the approval of the federal government to undergo quick rehabilitation and intervention of 260 critically failed roads projects across the Federation and was approved by the government 2 weeks later. Umahi stated that the released funds show how much President Tinubu is willing to invest in infrastructure, adding that no excuses will be tolerated to ensure that road repairs are adequately done. And the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries says Nigeria's economic growth in the third quarter of 2023 exceeded expectations. OPEC, in its monthly oil market report, attributed the growth to strong activity in the non-oil sectors, especially in services and agriculture, while the country's economy registered a robust 3.1% year-on-year increase in the third quarter of last year. OPEC expressed concern about inflationary pressure in the country and maintained that Nigeria's inflation rate rose to 27.3% in October, adding that the accelerating inflation in the country has been attributed to the removal of petrol subsidies and the devaluation of the naira. You are still watching the news on Atlantic Television Network. Up next, international tidbits. And South Africa's Justice Ministry says it will reopen an inquiry into the murder of 4 anti-apartheid activists, which became one of the era's most notorious crimes but remains unsolved nearly 4 decades ago. The so-called Craddock Four were abducted and murdered while returning home to the southern town of Craddock in June 1985 after a meeting, and the bodies of the 4, which include Matthew Goniwe, Sparrow Mkonto, Ford Kaleta, and Siselo Mohali, were discovered days later badly burnt and with multiple stab wounds. The security forces under the apartheid regime were suspected of being behind the killings, but no one has been brought to justice, while Justice Minister Ronald Lamola said it was in the interest of justice to finally bring closure to the families of the deceased who have been waiting decades for the truth about who killed their loved ones. The National Prosecuting Authorities Service has called for the reopening of the case to present evidence from the Truth and Reconciliation Committee that was not considered in the previous inquiries. And South Africa had invoked the Genocide Convention in its complaint filed with the courts after both South Africa and Israel have signed the convention. South Africa had requested immediate measures, saying the court should order an end to the violence against Palestinians in an order to protect their rights from further serious and irreparable harm, while South Africa said Israel's attack are genocidal in nature as they are aimed at destroying the Palestinians in the area. Leo Hayat, a spokesman for Israel's foreign ministry, has rejected South Africa's claims after the filing, and his judgments are binding, but UN judges have no way of enforcing them. To do so, they would have to appeal to the IJN Security Council, to the UN Security Council rather. And rounds of artillery shells off its west coast towards the South's Yeonpyeong Island. This is coming afterwards when the South Korea ordered civilians to seek shelter on the island before holding live fire drills of its own, while the South has condemned the move. The shelling follows warnings from Pyongyang that it was building up its military arsenal in preparation for war that could break out at any time on the peninsula. And in Tampa, Florida, the United States Attorney Roger B. Handberg has declared the end of transnational cybercrime investigation involving Exdetic Marketplace, according to court documents. The Extedic Marketplace was a website on the dark web that illegally sold login credentials with usernames and passwords to servers located across the world and personally identifiable information, including dates of birth and social security numbers of U.S. residents. Once purchased, criminals used these servers to facilitate a wide range of illegal activity that included tax fraud and ransomware attacks. The Extedic administrators practiced exceptional operational security, operating the website across a widely distributed international network and utilizing cryptocurrency in order to hide the locations of marketplaces' underlying servers and the identities of its administrators, sellers, and buyers. In the years that followed the takedown of Extedic's marketplace, the U.S. Attorney's Office has accepted the exchange of 230 Ukrainians and 248 Russian prisoners of war between Ukraine and the Russian Federation.